Hello, everybody. And good evening, everybody. My name is Sor Darkchild, and this is Ami Darkchild.
Hey.
And welcome back to Let's Replay the Ace Attorney trilogy. We are moving on to the third game in the trilogy, Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations.
Come over.
To recap, at the end of the final trial of the second game, apparently our client was our
evil?
first one who was actually guilty, and
I figured it out before the game did.
Yes, you most certainly did. And he tried to blackmail us into getting him a not guilty verdict.
Which is kind of stupid, because you're not guilty, then you're not guilty, and you don't have to blackmail anybody for anything.
Which, unfortunately for him, his little plan backfired because he filmed the assassin that he hired so that he can blackmail him later, which apparently to the assassin breaks his trust, making him be his next target if he ever got out of prison. And now we move on to episode 10, which is chronologically what it is for this series, as we begin our first case of the third game. Episode 10, Turnabout Memories.
Aw, it's gonna be sepia-toned.
Oh, and if you hear any munching in the background...
I got chips because I'm hungry.
Yeah, so try to disregard that. Oh! How did I get into this mess? Why did I do that? That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your own sake. If you continue seeing her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that!
I love her. Are you gonna shoot his friend over a girl?
Not shoot.
Oh. You punch him over a girl? Hey, Phoenix, what you doing?
It wasn't me. I didn't... I didn't do it! 5 years earlier, Mia Fey, second trial.
Woot woot. April 11th, 9:40 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. It's finally time. Oh, Mr. Grossberg. Good morning.
Mia, please calm yourself down. You're going to get yourself arrested for suspicious behavior, you know.
What are you talking about? I am relaxed, Mr. Grossberg. Look at me. I'm relaxed.
Let go of my lapels. You obviously haven't got the temperament to be a lawyer.
I'm so sorry. It's just I'm so nervous today.
Oh, that's right. This is your first time in the big leagues, isn't it? Well, never fear, my dear. I, Marvin Grossberg, am at your service. Still, you surprise me. What with your earnest request last night? Let me handle this case, you suddenly said, and quite forcefully, too.
I just found out yesterday about the case.
What? And you've already learned all the relevant facts?
About that. I mean, of course I have.
Oh dear. In any case, please don't let our client see you so nervous. You see, the poor young man in the pink sweater over there? That's our client. Good morning there, everybody.
Keep smiling, Mia.
I just want to say, I'll give it my all to I've got. Yep, I'll be fine, no problem.
Oh, what's wrong? You have a cold or something, Mr. Rye?
Actually, it's right. Like the Flying Brothers, people screw it up all the time. And yes, I have a cold. That's what this mask is for. My doc says this way I won't give it to anyone else. Be kind to others, he says.
You have nothing to fear in court today. We're gonna kick some butt. If you truly are innocent, I promise I will save you. But if you're blackmailing...
Please, let go of my shirt.
He's the one on trial, not you. He's the one who should be nervous. You need to stay strong for your client, Mia. I'm still pretty new at this lawyer thing. The first time I appeared in court was a year ago. That trial traumatized me so badly I thought I'd never set foot in a courtroom. It's been 1 year since then, and well, here I am again. But this time I'll pay. And for myself. April 11th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 2.
Court is now in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
How old is this?
The defense is... Today is Miss Mia Fey, was it?
Yes, Your Honor. Is there a problem?
I was under the impression that Marvin Grossberg was to be leading this defense.
Oh, yeah, well, you see, Mr. Grossberg had, he had a bit of an emergency.
Emergency? But isn't that him standing right there next to you?
Oh, yeah, well...
You're just a rookie. Are you sure you can really handle this?
I'm scaring you, Mia. Give Santa Claus your toughest luck. Of course, Your Honor.
Well, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please. Well. I can't believe a veteran like me has to spend his time babysitting a new defense lawyer. Don't worry, little girl. It will be all over soon. Now then, I'd like to proceed with a summary of events on the day in question. The incident occurred on the campus of Ivy University. The murder victim was a student named Doug Swallow.
I can't. Oh my god. Really?
He was a fourth-year student studying pharmacology. It sounds like he was a very bright young man. Yes, well, next we have a photo taken at the scene of the crime. Oops. Students discovered the scene shortly after the murder.
Was he
They
electrocuted?
found the victim's body.
Oh.
And the defendant, who had obviously bulged his getaway, they then called the police. That certainly makes the defendant look very suspicious indeed. Very well. The court accepts this photo into the records of evidence. By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death from this photo.
I could tell from the cause of the photo.
Your reputation is for sagacity is well earned, Your Honor. The truth is that the victim died from a rather unusual death.
An unusual death?
What do you mean, Mr. Payne?
Well, perhaps the defense would like to take this question.
What?
A simple question. I thought it might loosen you up a bit. I am a genteel man, if you will.
What? Stand up to him, Mia. Show him what you're made of.
A perfect opportunity. Well, what was it? The cause. Go on.
Electrocution.
Please say you know at least this much.
I didn't get a chance to go through this whole file.
My hemorrhoids are starting to act up. Now see here. The details of the case are filed under the court record, as you already know. What? You knew that already, didn't you?
He was electrocuted. The court record. I think I can see that by pressing this button here on my forehead.
All the weapons we need can be found in the court record. Take a good, hard look at the data there and think carefully before you answer, my dear.
He was electrocuted. Yes, sir. I'll do just that. Stay calm. The prosecutor get the better of me. Okay, let's take a
Now then, would the attorney for the defense please answer the question? What was the cause of death?
electrocution. According to the court record, it was a fatal electric shock. In other words, electrocution.
Electrocution? What? How could such a thing happen?
The power line.
Did the murderer use some new type of super powerful stun gun, perhaps?
The answer to that will become crystal clear as this trial proceeds, Your Honor. But before that, there is one more vital issue.
Okay.
Why? The motive, of course. Apparently, there was some bad blood between the victim and the defendant.
Bad blood?
Oopsie, I'm terribly sorry. You're the defense attorney, so you must know all about it. I shouldn't be stealing your spotlight like this.
Really
That's Winston Payne for you. He is one smooth operator, if you catch my drift.
don't. I do not.
They don't call him the rookie killer for nothing, you know.
I'd rather be up against an edge.
Now then, let's hear from the defense.
What
What was the source of the bad blood between the victim and the defendant?
some check.
And this time, I would like to see some supporting evidence. No need to get all worked up over this. As I said, all our weapons can be found in the court record. Find the evidence you need, and then shove it into old Greybeard's face.
Mean. Yes, sir. Into old Greybeard's face.
Mr. Grossberg, try to set a better example for the young lady. Evidence isn't the only thing in the court record. People profiles are as well used in there. And use this button while you're checking the evidence, and you'll be able to use them. Now then, let's see what you've got. What was the cause of the bad blood between Phoenix Wright and the victim?
Some girl. Oh, she's cute. The reason for the bad blood was between the two of them was this woman here.
Dahlia Hawthorne, is it?
very good, Miss Fay.
Shut up,
You
Winston.
seem to have picked up on at least this much. This woman is the girlfriend of the defendant, Phoenix Wright.
Pardon?
But up until about 8 months ago, she was with the victim, Mr. Swallow.
Jesus.
Clearly, she has some part to play in this story.
Oh, he's done it again. Before the cross-examination starts, he's already got the judge thinking like he wants.
I miss Edgeworth.
Very well. Mr. Payne, please call your first witness.
If it pleases the court, the prosecution would like to call Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What? The defendant himself? Well, Miss Fay?
No, I don't care. Go ahead. It's fine. After all, Mr. Wright's innocent, right? Right? The defense has no objection.
Very well. The court calls Mr. Phoenix Wright to the witness stand.
How old is this Santa Claus character? I mean, he's been in every single song. He's the same age.
Nobody knows.
Maybe he's like eternally aged.
Witness, please state your name and occupation. Oh, yes. My name is Phoenix Wright. My job is, well, right now I guess I'm a suspect.
No, he means what did you do before you were arrested?
Oh! I was a university student. Mr. Wright, you understand that you are suspected? But I didn't do it! I'm innocent, I tell you! I'm telling you, I was...
Would the defendant please refrain from passing on his call to the rest of us?
It seems the witness has something he wants to say.
Well then, Mr. Wright. Please tell us about your relation with the victim.
Right away, Your Honor.
Oh boy.
I admit I was there. But I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never talked to that stuck-up British wannabe.
Wait.
I see. So you hardly knew the victim?
Right, like I said, I'm not a killer.
It looks like the judge understands.
You're being naive, you know. Too naive.
Huh?
It seems that you've forgotten one small thing, young lady.
That would be?
This witness still has to undergo something called cross-examination.
Cross-examination?
He's right. And it's the defense's duty to carry out the cross-examination. The purpose is to determine if the witness's testimony contains any contradictions. If the witness is lying, their statements will conflict with the court record. Even if he is your client, in court, all lies must be struck down. As a lawyer, that is your duty, you see.
Phoenix, why you lie to me?
Now then, your cross-examination, if you please, Miss Fay.
I don't know, he looks like a lying liar that lies.
I admit I was there.
Hold it! When you say you're there,
Yeah, sort of. The place is where something happened anyway. Something? You can't hide what happened. We have photographic
but
evidence.
he's not in the picture. jerk. Stop it. Anyway, Mr. Wright. What were you doing at the scene of the crime? I thought you said you didn't know the victim, Mr. Sloth.
It was just a coincidence. We bumped into each other by
lying,
accident.
dude. Just tell him the truth.
A coincidence, huh?
But I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body.
Hold it! You said you found the body. So who called the police?
Huh? Unfortunately, it was some other students that notified the police.
Why aren't they here?
Other students?
That's correct. They were
Why aren't
witnesses.
they here?
Witnesses who saw the defendant standing there next to the body, in shock.
Where are those cables? Cables are gone.
What? Is this true, Mr. Wright?
Well, it's true that I was pretty shocked when I found the body. But I hardly knew the guy to begin with.
Hold it! So you didn't know his face, right?
Right, well, no. That is, I mean...
So, which is it?
Now see here! You can't avoid answering the question by sneezing all day!
Well, I guess I did know his name. I heard he used to date Dolly.
Who is this Dolly person?
Ah, yes. That would be the defendant's lover, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, I see. Our young love. So bittersweet.
But that's all I knew about him. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe.
How'd you know he was British if you didn't know? Hold it! You said the following in your testimony. I hardly knew the guy to begin with.
That's right. I mean, why would I even...
But that doesn't sound right. If you hardly knew him, then why would you say that the victim was a stuck-up British wannabe? Mr. Wright?
No, it wasn't me. I'm not a killer. I swear.
Mr. Wright, I will give you an opportunity to rephrase your testimony. How is it that you knew the victim was, as you say, a British wannabe?
Yes, well... He was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt.
Objection! Are you certain you saw the Union Jack?
Yeah, I'm sure. It was right there on his back.
Miss Fay, is there some point to this line of questioning?
Your Honor, please take another look at the crime scene photo. Does that point to me a Union Jack? As you can see, there's absolutely nothing written on the victim's back.
Hey, wait a minute. He's wearing a leather jacket. The Union Jack is on the back of his t-shirt he's wearing.
Uh-huh. I was under the impression that you accidentally came across the body. But if that was really the case, then you wouldn't know that, would you? You have no idea what he was wearing underneath that jacket. God damn it, Mr. Wright. You've been lying to me.
Please forgive me.
Mia, you made our client cry!
You lied to me. Let him. That P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyway. I can't believe believe I trusted him. Mr. Wright is all wrong.
That was an impressive bit of cross-examination. Thank you for uncovering the defendant's lie for me. It's quite clear that this man did not simply stumble upon the scene of the crime.
Did I go too far?
By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to have a rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it?
Yeah, I took some, but...
Was the medicine that you took an over-the-counter brand called Cold Killer X?
Yeah, that's right! That kills colds good! Hey, wait a second. How did you know I'm a big fan of Cold Killer X?
Would you happen to have that medicine with you right now?
Well, actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere.
He lost it? Does it have anything to do with the case?
Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now?
Is it in the victim's pocket?
Huh?
Your Honor, I'd like you to take
my
a look
God.
at another photo from the crime scene.
Oh.
Watch this. It's the victim's hand. It's Cold Killer
That can
X!
be anyone's hand. Anyone's hand.
No, it's the victim's.
But the picture like this would not be accepted unless it was actually taken by a professional crime scene photographer, because anybody can put a watch, jacket on, and hold the bottle.
Uh-huh. Fair enough.
Objection! Yeah. But it's even got... But even I've got a bottle of Cold Killer X in my apartment.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that argument won't work. There's no doubt as to who this bottle of Cold Killer X belongs to. Especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints were all over it.
What?
Sensing his murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped by the Mr. Phoenix Wright, and hid it in his hand. His purpose in doing so could have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright.
But if he was holding it in his hand, then the fingerprints that Phoenix had on it would be replaced by the fingerprints left by the victim. Ergo...
Oh, just you wait till we get further in this case.
See? I love this series, but there are certain things that just...
Contradict? Order! Order in the court!
Your Honor, I'd like to present this photo and the bottle as evidence.
And bottle? You have the bottle?
Very well. We will accept both of them into the court record.
Really?
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 Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken.
Broken?
Oh, that's what happened to
Yes.
get electrocuted.
It ceased functioning when a large wave of electricity passed through it.
Didn't I just say that?
Yes, you did.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some kind of explanation for all of this?
I blame the crazy bitch. Oh, this is really
Oh, my buttocks, my poor hemorrhoids.
Dude, Grossberg, stop. You know what else would really happen now?
The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45 behind the building. We talked for a bit, and then at around 3 o'clock, we split up. Then later, when I went back, I found him lying there. I had been taking Cold Killer X for at least 2 or 3 days. But I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident.
Convenient.
Mr. Wright, that's completely different from the testimony you gave previously.
We called him out on the lies. He had to amend everything. Shut up, Mr. Judge. Sorry. My inner angry Mia is angry.
I know. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth.
You'll forgive me if I say I hardly find your client testimony any more creditable.
Miss Fay, please begin your cross-examination.
I don't want to. Oh, please, Mr. Wright, don't tell any more lies.
The truth is, I went because he called me.
Hold it! Had you ever met the victim before then?
No, never.
Then how did he
But-
get your phone number?
That day, he called me up and told me he wanted to talk about Dolly. And this Dolly person is... We already covered
that.
this! It's kind of embarrassing. She's my, sweetheart.
Well, could you said my girlfriend and moved on?
Oh, what was that for, Mia?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just felt like slapping something all of a sudden.
Dahlia Hawthorne was also the lover of the murder victim, Doug Swallow. Before she met Mr. Wright, that is.
So, it was one of those nasty love triangles, I see. He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45 behind the building.
Was it Mr. Swallow who indicated you should meet at 2:45?
Yeah! Huh, and we were both there right on time.
Any proof?
You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, right? Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him the alchemist of IVU. An alchemist, I see. I gotta admit, it was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. It was filled with chemicals and strong machines that run on high voltage electricity. Oh, how fascinating. He sounds like he was quite the ambitious young man.
I do. Maybe she'll have some I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the pharmacology department.
Well, okay, sure. I don't know all that much, though.
A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said the department uses high voltage electricity.
That's right. And they sure look dangerous. They use non-standard
Jesus.
voltages, so there are high voltage cables everywhere.
That wouldn't be a high voltage cables.
Yeah, there were electrical posts set up all around the building.
No!
The high voltage cables ran overhead around the roof.
No! Finally, I think we're getting somewhere.
We talked a bit, and then at around 3, we split up.
So what was it you were talking about? Dolly.
You know, that maybe we should hang out again sometime.
Stop. You said he called you to talk about Dolly, and now you're saying he's talking to you about hanging out again
That's a lie.
God damn it, Phoenix. Hang out again sometime. Wish that were true.
Then later, when I went back, I found him lying there.
I found you lying here. You say you went back.
Yeah, that's when I found the body.
Why? Yeah, but why did you go back to the first place? Weren't you angry with him?
Well, that's right, I was.
Then why, Mr. Wright? Why did you go back there?
I thought maybe I could make up.
Judging by the atmosphere, I'm pretty sure no one's doing
I've been
been taking Cold Killer X for at least 2 or 3 days.
Hold it!
Yeah, I always get a little careless when the weather starts to warm up. I guess I shouldn't sleep with the window open this early in spring, huh?
So, did anyone else know that you were taking cold medicine?
Well, I always took one after meals, so I'm pretty sure all my friends knew about it. But I lost my bottle of Cold Killer X around lunchtime on the day of the accident.
Hold it!
What did you do for lunch?
Huh? What does that have to do with anything?
You can never be too sure.
I always eat lunch with Dahlia. Just the two of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. Her mini omelets are magically delicious.
Ouch! Why did you punch me in the jaw?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just felt like hurting someone all of a sudden. She's kinda masochistic.
I think that's enough for now. So the defendant and the victim met at approximately the time of his death. And then the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason.
I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the medicine bottle either.
Let me be frank here, Mr. Wright. Your testimony cannot be trusted.
What do you mean? I knew it was too much work for a little girl.
I have nothing to do with this.
However, there is one mystery that still remains.
There is, Your Honor.
How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct?
It was the gun.
Well, that is, you are correct, Your Honor.
Swallow pill with the freaking wires. I could somehow establish how it was done. Maybe I could start I know how he did it. Well, I don't know how. Your Honor,
Yes, Miss Fay?
I believe that if we were to piece together everything we've heard up until now, we should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died.
That would be most impressive.
Quite a brash statement coming from a rookie.
Shut up, Payne.
But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of the court, yes? An attorney must be able to sustain their arguments with evidence.
Huh? Of course I know that. Actually, I'd totally forgotten.
Now then, Miss Fay. Let's see what you've got. Show me how you believe...
Give me the picture.
Show me how you believe the victim was electrocuted.
Give me the picture.
Take that!
As for the cause of death, I'd say this picture captures it quite well.
What? There is nothing that even remotely resembles a
God,
motor
you guys,
weapon here.
Stop rolling ones.
I'm afraid the defense is going to have to explain this in a bit more detail. Miss Fay, where exactly is the photo? Oh, where in this photo is the murder weapon?
Take that!
Well, naturally, it's right here.
That's... What is that?
It's a power cord. Severed electrical cable, I believe, Your Honor. Remember the testimony we heard? Machines the pharmacology students used in their experiments require high voltage. And because of that, there are special high voltage cables strung up everywhere.
So then, the high voltage cable.
Yep. High voltage cable is the cause of death. That is the most likely.
That certainly sounds plausible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I believe some praise are in order.
Fuck you. Don't toy with me, old man.
Now, the victim's cause of death may indeed have been a high voltage cable. However, I want you to think about what that really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use the cable as a murder weapon was the defendant.
Not really.
That much is certainly true.
Yes, and that's not all. We have proof. Irrefutable proof that will establish that Mr. Wright was the murderer.
You do? Well, what is it?
His fingerprints!
Are they on the cable?
Fingerprints? You mean that the defendant's fingerprints were on something besides this medicine bottle?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see,
umbrella?
the victim is wearing a leather jacket. And as you may know, leather holds fingerprints quite well.
Oh. You mean...
Yes, it was quite clearly imprinted on the chest area of the victim's jacket. A palm print of the defendant's very own hand.
What?
I can only think of one way Mr. Wright could have left a handprint like that. Intent on murder, he squarely pushed the victim towards the severed electrical cable.
How did he cut it in the first place?
Order! 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 That's enough! I think we can conclude that there is no reason to continue with this cross-examination. Stick a fork in us. We're done.
No, we're not. Mr. Grossberg.
My hemorrhoids never lie. The show is over, Mia.
How did he cut the cable?
I knew that the boy was guilty the first time I saw him.
No. You're wrong. Mr. Wright is innocent.
No further evidence is required to convince me of this man's guilt.
How did he cut the cable? Your Honor.
At this time, I am prepared to render a verdict in this case.
Hold it!
Do you have something further to add, Miss May? Faye?
Is this what you want, Mr. Wright? You still haven't told us the truth. The whole truth. If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand down his verdict.
But I can't. I just can't say it. If I told you what really happened, then I'd be...
It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney, and you can fucking trust me.
Miss Faye,
No matter what it is you have to say, I believe in you, and I represent you to the very end.
we've already established the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything. Well, wait a minute. I'll tell you what really happened. But I've already told you, Mr. Wright. There's no need to further. I did it. I admit it. I pushed him. It's my fault. It's my fault that Dog Swallow is dead.
That girl. You shouldn't see her anymore.
Hey, It's none of your business.
I'm telling you for your own sake. If you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news.
You're lying.
Listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl.
Stop it. Don't talk about her like that.
Holy crap, One Punch Man. How did you cut the wire?
What you just said? Was that the truth?
Yes, I was afraid. I was afraid that if I told the truth, everyone would think I was a murderer for sure.
Well, as things currently stand, we're all absolutely convinced you are.
Please, please give me one more chance to explain. This time, I swear I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it, Miss Faye? I believe in you.
You really did push the victim.
I feel like my hemorrhoids are doing harm shakes. Harlem shakes. Harlem shakes. And if memory serves, this is the last of his testimonies.
That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly.
But he would know because he dated her before.
I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to get worried. So I went back, but he was just lying there, dead.
You heard a weird noise and you left.
Well, the explanation is quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electrical cable.
But how did it get cut in the first place?
He died from the shock, and that, as they say, is that.
A simple explanation indeed.
At the time of the incident, a light rain had been fallen. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted.
How?
But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables
Exactly.
nearby. If there had been something like that, I would have noticed.
That's true. Even a doofus like him could miss that.
Miss Faye,
Yo.
let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new information, I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that?
Jingle, jingle, Santa Claus. Yes, Your Honor. Don't give up, Mia. He's innocent. There must be some kind of evidence somewhere that will prove it. Who cut the cable and how? Why are we looking past this?
That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly.
Hold it!
So, what kind of things did Mr. Swallow say to you?
He said all sorts of terrible things about Dolly.
Like?
He said that she was a bad girl.
Is that all?
Yup. What the fuck?
Well?
Well, Miss Faye, you heard him yourself.
Oh God, you're not doing yourself any favor here, Mr. Wright. Please don't make this harder for me than it already is.
Anyway, after he said that, I lost my temper and gave him a shove.
Hold it!
What happened in a little more detail?
That guy, he just said that he wanted to say to me. And then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. That's when I lost my temper and flew into a furious frenzy.
just gave him a light, gentle shove to the chest.
And when he did that, there was no severed cable anywhere to be seen.
Right! There was nothing like that at all.
Okay.
But is that possible that you merely overlooked it?
Well, I guess that's possible.
Don't let this guy steamroll over you like a cheap asshole.
I believe it's important here is the moment the push occurred.
No, the important thing is how the freaking.
Let's continue with the testimony, witness. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise.
Okay, and what was that? A loud noise. What would you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright?
I'm not sure, but it was really loud.
Was it like a gunshot? Was it like
It was like, snap!
Ah,
You know, come to think of it, I wonder what that was.
it was the cable being...
Clearly, Your Honor, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted.
No,
That's not a zap.
That's not a zap.
That's not a snap.
A snappy sound. That would be more of a type sound.
Objection!
You're not qualified to decide that. Ground here. I want more details. Damn it. Mr. Wright, the loud noise you heard may be extremely important. Try to remember what it was.
How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack.
Kind of like thunder.
Ah, could it have been?
Hurry up and tell us.
When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding.
That's not what it was, you...
He fell right on top of it and it broke.
Oh,
That was probably the noise I heard.
no.
An umbrella, huh? And did that umbrella belong to the victim? Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella, cheap and frail. Kinda like the owner.
But in the picture it was open and off to the side.
Then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone.
Yeah, in the picture it's open.
Miss Faye, what do you think? Is there something important in that
Yes.
testimony just now?
Yes! He's lying. This is it, Mia. The new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important. The cheap umbrella is more important. It's vital. I want to officially have it entered into the testimony.
How perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer.
The court agrees to the defense's request.
It is open in the picture, right? Yeah.
Please add this bit to your about the chief umbrella to your testimony. After I shoved him, he fell down.
Did not.
He fell down on top of his cheap umbrella.
God damn it, Phoenix, stop lying to me. Stop lying to me. Why didn't you test about the umbrella from the very beginning?
Come on, if I had mentioned that.
I wouldn't have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, taking a look at the crime scene photo here. What's that? According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole.
You're absolutely right.
The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive.
No!
Order! 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 The victim moved? Mr. Payne, the umbrella in this photo, where is it now?
Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene.
I want it presented as evidence immediately.
So, let me get this straight. The police have the umbrella, which is critical to this goddamn case. But we ended up getting a pill bottle?
Some of these cases are confusing.
But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by the wind.
Objection!
According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. And there's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind.
But
I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial,
It's not.
but as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render final judgment.
Good.
no!
Huh.
However, I still find it hard to believe that a huge hole has been blown in the prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony.
Good job, Phoenix.
Well done, Mia.
I'm good at memorizing photos. Pain.
Mr.
Knock it
Payne,
off.
what are you cackling about?
Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was expecting too much of a free ride. I was foolish to think I could establish guilt through cross-examination alone.
I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying.
Let me guess.
Exactly. And this witness's testimony is incontrovertible.
Well, who is this witness?
Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Dahlia Hawthorne. You don't mean Dolly?
I do, Your Honor. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to the whole thing.
Well, then she clearly did it.
That's right. She was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place.
What?
He wasn't there.
I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear.
Okay. Bad news. It couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this.
You can't be serious.
Mia, what do you mean by that? I think this is a good point for us to stop at. The court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we will listen to the testimony of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
April 11th, 11:52 a.m. District Court. Defendant lobby number 3.
Miss Faye, I'm sorry about what happened back there. I
Slap him. It's alright. At least you told us the truth in the end, Mr. Wright.
Yeah. So I guess I can start to relax now, huh?
No.
Relax, my boy. You can't be serious. After hiding such important facts?
But the next witness is my Dolly, right? She'll save me. I just know she will.
Nope. Why do you think that?
Huh? What do you mean? She's the love of my life. That's why.
Tell me more about you and your
Sure, no problem. Dolly and I, we first met about 8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse.
What?
Actually, I'm studying to be a lawyer on the side anyway. One day, she and I just bumped into each other in the reading room downstairs. That's why I really think it was fate that brought us together. As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she was the one for me. Oh, here, take a look at this. She gave this to me the day we met as a symbol of our love.
She had been wearing it around her neck that day, but then she took it off. But before she gave it to me, she said,
I want you to carry this.
"So, she gave it to you as a present, I see." This darling little bottle is filled with memories of my darling little dolly. It makes me so happy. I show it to everyone I meet. I want to share my happiness with the whole world.
Anyway. So after that, you and Miss Horton.
Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now. What a strange girl. Asking for a present back like that.
By the way, Mr. Wright, day you first met Dahlia Hawthorne 8 months ago. It wouldn't happen to have been August 27th, would it?
Huh? Yeah, it was. But how did you...
This happened on August 27th right here in this courthouse.
What's this? A newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder in the courthouse. Murder? What are you reading there? Let me see that. Oh, I see.
Calling it now, she's a black widow.
Mia, I think I understand what you're trying to say. And I think I understand why you suddenly took such an keen interest in this
She's
case.
a goddamn black widow.
You believe there is some relationship between these two cases, am I correct?
Hope you don't mind.
Yes, but I'm afraid what you have will not be enough, my dear. I'll go and look at the downstairs reading room and see what I can find.
Thanks.
I want to do whatever I can to be of help to you, Mia. Well, it looks like recess is about over. We'd better all get moving.
$20. No, we're not gonna cut it.
I'm gonna cut it.
Okay. April 11th, 12:13 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 2.
Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, please call your witness.
This next person is someone who witnessed the crime as it happened. The prosecution calls Miss Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand.
Oh, here we go.
In my long career as a judge, I have been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity.
I can't believe he actually said that.
Oh, now then, witness, could you please state your full name?
Don't worry, sweetie. There is no need to be nervous.
If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them right down to size.
And I'll bash them with my gavel.
Straight at me when I see that.
all.
It was nothing.
If we may move on now, what is your full name and occupation?
My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence.
The honor is all mine.
No, the honor is all mine.
Voice to be on here.
Is there something I can help you with?
You just go on and say whatever is on your mind.
I'm sure there must be some kind of mistake. Feeny wouldn't kill anyone. I just know it.
Yes, yes. I can see why you'd say that. Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please.
Planning to go back to Feeny's place after class was over. Feeny and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. And then suddenly, they got all wobbly and just collapsed. That's when I noticed that I was there. We went to go and find some of the students, and they called the authorities.
I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, the defendant didn't do anything wrong.
Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn. Nevertheless, it is my job to discover the truth. Please, tell us the truth.
But I would never.
That's more than enough, witness. I won't allow this to continue.
What do you mean by that?
Please, just let me proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case on a bunch of paper-thin lies.
What's this? So you two are acquainted?
Yeah, we met before. Once.
In any case, Miss Fay, the floor is all yours.
It's good to see you again, Madam Faye.
Madam? Oh, I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie.
Feeny's place after class was over.
Now, unless I'm mistaken, Feeny, I mean, Mr. Wright, is in the art department. If that's the case, then what were you doing by the pharmacology?
Well, I'm in the literature department studying Japanese Senryu poetry.
Ho 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 ho! How wonderful! It's that humorous yet satirical style of haiku, yes?
Nothing left to do. The man who just sleeps. He sleeps his best friend.
Sounds more like a midlife crisis.
For me to get an art department, I have to walk through that back area.
Ah, yes, I see. That makes sense. When I want to go enter the courthouse, I always walk through the front doors.
Else would you enter?
Feeny and Dougie, they were talking about the Oh, that's right. We were dating until about 8 months ago.
So what were Dougie, Mr. Swallow and Mr. Wright talking about anyway? How can you be so mean? I would never eavesdrop. I wasn't raised to be so rude and unrefined.
That's right, Miss Fay.
Don't drag the witness down to your level.
My level? Why am I being demonized here?
Please, go on. What did you see next?
All wobbly and just collapsed.
Hold it! Are you saying that the victim just collapsed on his own?
Yes.
In other words, the defendant never touched the victim. Is that right?
But he never did a thing to Dougie.
Professor Brown did research on this and the judge getting angry. We have his fingerprints. So what should I do now? Contradiction. We have the fingerprint. The palm print on the chest. Feeble eyes are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we?
What? I would never.
Miss Fay, I will not allow you to badger this witness.
I'm not badgering.
I believe the defense is on a fishing expedition. That is, she has no supporting. Please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job.
Now then, Miss Hawthorne? The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did, in fact, push the victim. There's no need to try and cover for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth.
There is nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything that you saw.
Yes, Your Honor. I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise
Looks like we're finally getting somewhere.
I didn't see the money pushing Dougie.
You didn't see it?
I saw the moment when Dougie...
And at that time, there was only the two of them at the scene. The defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and the victim, Doug Swallow.
So then what did it look like they were doing to you?
I thought they were having a nice friendly afternoon conversation.
Give me a break.
You did notice anything out of the ordinary at all?
Oh, Mr. Judge.
Oh, I like the sound of that, Mr. Judge. Now then, please proceed with your testimony.
Okay,
I went to go find some other students.
It's one of these two testimonies that there's a contradiction.
Didn't hear any noises. Phoenix clearly said he heard a noise.
Objection!
You say you didn't hear any noise. Is that correct?
Yes, that's why I was very relaxed, looking at the scenery around me.
Uh-huh. That's nice. But I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And he clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise.
He said that?
If you were really that close to the two of them, you hear the noise as well.
Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable.
It was loud, Payne.
Objection!
But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression.
May I have a moment to answer?
By all means.
I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on, and I was listening to music at the time.
Headphones? You mean that both of your ears were covered?
It seemed as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to end yet. So the sky began to flash and rumble. Yes, I'm afraid of the sound of thunder. So I put my headphones on to block it out.
Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there wasn't any contradiction in her testimony at all.
Wait a second, Mia. That testimony just now. She said something that could totally change this whole case. There was lightning and thunder. Your Honor, there's a problem with the witness's testimony.
What do you mean?
Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct?
Yes, what about it?
Oh, well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere. Am I right?
Now's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Fay.
Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died from being compatible to lightning?
Now, what are the odds of that? I must admit that the thought had not occurred to me, since the odds of that are not very good. Not very good ones.
This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was but that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bullet.
It appears the defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental?
Alright, you didn't. Ground's not scored.
I'm hurt that you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Fay. I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. And we found that there were no lightning strikes on that day at that location.
Well, then that means that bitch was lying. What?
What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable was definitely linked to this
Then
case.
why didn't you know what killed him? God, I hate you.
Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what is this evidence?
This evidence.
And who is this evidence from?
The pharmacology students who were conducting experiments in their labs that day, sir. Allow me to read out to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All the equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden at around 3 p.m. that day.
It was a blackout?
All of the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor.
So you're saying the equipment lost power?
The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m.
Which fits with the time of death listed in the autopsy report.
Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable.
Why would he do that?
According to the students, the cables were very old.
Hold it.
They were planning on having them replaced in the near future.
I see.
Apparently, the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break.
That is so dangerous that a school would not allow it, and they... This case bugs me.
Trust me, there are going to be some later that are worse.
No, this bugs me because it puts millions of people's
Lives at risk.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
And the school wouldn't do that. The school would be shut down until it was, put up
However, there is one thing that troubles me.
one thing?
If the cables could have been broken at any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped. If it hadn't been bumped into, correct?
Well, I suppose you could say that.
Miss Faye, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable?
Your Honor? We're looking at her. I mean, I don't like how this is looking one bit. I had to come up with something to try and gain some. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state an option.
Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break?
This bitch here. Alright.
Take that!
Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony.
The defendant's testimony?
He said after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this happened around 3 p.m., correct?
Yes, that sounds right. Wait! Are you saying that...
The lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits right in Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage.
Yes, the prosecution also came to that same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted.
Objection!
Oh, I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr.
What's that supposed to mean?
Take a good look at where the victim was. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right. The victim banged into the pole as a result of being pushed, and that impact that caused the cable to break.
Well, that makes sense. And then the victim was electrocuted.
I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by the severed cable in the foreground here. In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim. That bitch there.
Order! Order in the court!
Oh, the lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them.
It's true. The defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any way...
Mr. Judge, can I say something? He said some things that are a little different than I remember them.
What the?
Please testify. Please, Mr. Judge.
Of course it's all right. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony.
This is it. I don't think
Sorry.
she is, though.
The truth is, he didn't push
so many fucking lies there.
So, after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away.
And that is when the defendant pushed him for the second time.
Where's...
I'm so sorry, Phoebe. But I just have to tell the truth. Am I doing the right thing? Am I, Mr. Judge?
Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Fay, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
With pleasure. Miss Hawthorne, previously in your testimony you said the following. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie.
I wanted to protect Phoebe.
So that's why you basically lied to the court.
Mr. Judge,
Yes?
would you please forgive little old me?
For the love of course he won't. What you just did was
Oh,
perjury.
come on now! Oh, it's just a little old white lie.
Perjury!
We'll just forget it this time. But please, be more careful from here on, alright?
Thank you so much, Mr. Judge.
Not at all.
Dark alley is friendlier than that girl. You're saying you actually saw the victim get pushed into the electrical pole. Oh, really?
Yes, he sounds like a very dangerous individual indeed.
And so let me get this straight. You were happily listening to your music on your headphones while you watched this scene unfold.
What?
Miss Fay, I'll have to ask you to stop badgering the witness.
I was so scared that I couldn't even move. All I could do was stand there and cheer them on.
Cheer them on? What do you mean by that?
Well, I wish the best for them both. And each give the fight their all.
That's a very sweet of you to be so supportive.
That's a red flag!
And what happened after that?
Feeny caught up and crashed into
That doesn't sound quite right. There were handprints found on the chest of the victim's leather jacket. Mr. Payne, were there also prints found on the back of his leather jacket?
No, there wasn't.
May I suggest that you listen a little more carefully? He said that he crashed into him from behind, right? He wouldn't leave any prints behind in that case, would he?
And they both died.
The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute.
Oh my god, you're such a liar.
Objection!
Okay, that's enough. Witness.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
You will in a minute. Could you please take a look at this picture?
Oh, that medicine. That's the one Feeny likes to take for his cold.
Yeah, it's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. It stopped at the precise time the victim was electrocuted. In other words, 3:05 p.m.
Yes, and your point is, Miss Fay?
Okay, my point is this. What time was it when the lab suffered that power outage due to the cable snapping?
Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer is clear. It was 2:55. Ah!
Yeah, would you care to explain to court, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? What exactly happened during this 10-minute interval? The defense proposes that it was during this interval that the real murderer killed Mr. Doug Swallow.
Order in the court.
This is nonsense. The real murderer?
Objection! Even you can't deny that the time between the cable breaking and the electrocution are completely unaccounted for.
And who was it? Who else are you saying could have done it?
Oh, come on. There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Oh, after my client had left the scene. Was there a window of opportunity for the real killer?
Miss Faye, is the defense ready to indict someone as this real killer?
It's finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor. We are ready.
Very well. But remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized.
Oh boy.
Think very carefully before you speak, Miss Faye. Now then, Miss Faye, let's have it. Who was the real killer?
That bitch there. It could only have been you, Dahlia Hawthorne.
The defense is grasping at straws.
Okay. 10 minutes passed between the table the cable broke and the time of the electrocution. What exactly were you doing that whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Were you really listening to some music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find it hard to believe that you didn't lift a finger to stop the men dearest to you.
Order! Miss Faye! What? I mean, why? I was to say...
Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the two men fighting on that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands. How can you say something so mean, Madam Faye? I didn't do anything.
Miss Faye, this is a very serious charge.
Your Honor, please, I have something I want to say.
You? What is it?
Please strike everything the defense said just now from the record.
What the? Daft?
You're totally wrong, Miss Faye. Dolly, she couldn't do something like that.
Where's Dolly?
Mr. Wright, get back in your seat.
I agree.
Bailiff, grab that man.
I agree.
Leave my Dolly alone.
That boy.
Boy, he's gotten himself way over his head.
Oh, Mr. Grossberg, you're back.
It seems I arrived just in the nick of time. I found the police report on that incident in your newspaper clipping.
Thank you. You are such a MacGuffin. I just said that. You're a MacGuffin.
You better take a look at that.
I'm gonna.
It, details how you came to lose your boyfriend.
That was bitch.
Now then, the defense has made a very serious accusation.
And I stand by it.
Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, really, Your Honor, you worry, my dear. I have this situation well in hand. No, you don't. That is, go ahead.
Seriously accusing me of killing my sweet doggy?
Oh yeah, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Mr. Phoenix, right?
I told you that you should let me handle this. Sorry, please, go ahead.
How can you say that? I'm absolutely devoted to my dear Phoenix. The notion that I would try to frame him is ludicrous. This is all just too much for poor little me to bear.
I believe this girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive would be. Oh, it definitely
She's a
does.
freaking Black Widow. Same day, the two of them accidentally. Your Honor, the defense requests further testimony from Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Further testimony? What about?
Oh, you know, about the evidence the day that when she first met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix, right?
What could that possibly have to do with this case?
The witness claims that she has no reason to frame the defendant. Am I correct? Well, I have evidence that suggests that she, in fact, had a very good reason.
Very well then. The court grants the defense's request.
Thank you.
Young lady, would you mind staying on for just a bit longer?
Of course not, Mr. Judge.
Get ready for the battle of your life, Dahlia Hawthorne.
My heart skipped a beat. We've been going out ever since that. You're so lovey-wovey. You literally make people sick. It's just jealousy, I think.
Mr. Wright, do that again and you will be held in contempt of this court.
And now we enter the final act of our little drama.
As we used to say in the days of my youth, go get her!
Uh-huh. So until that time, you had been dating Doug Swallow.
No, not at all. Look at me. I'm infamous for changing my mind. My critics have even taken to calling me Judge Fickle.
Maybe you should look for a different one.
Despite that, however, he always hands down the correct verdict. That's why some people also call him the Great Judgini.
The courthouse is really It's a strange place to meet them.
Feeney was not only an art student, but he was also planning on
Yeah, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you, Miss Hawthorne. What was a literature student like you doing in a courthouse reading room?
This line of questioning is a waste of time. It has nothing to do with the murder case.
Miss Bay, I'm warning you. If this has nothing to do with Mr. Swallow's case,
attitude, I think I can establish relevance. Please ask her to continue with her testimony.
Very well. Young lady, I've got a simple question for you. What were you doing downstairs in the courthouse reading room?
Miss Hawthorne, you weren't here because of your research paper, were you? Didn't you actually come here for a much more important reason?
What is the meaning of this cocky smile on your face, Miss Fay?
8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse, there was another tragedy.
Another tragedy?
Oh yeah.
Do you mean the incident in which an attorney was poisoned?
The name of the suspect in that incident is listed here in this report. And that name is Dahlia Hawthorne.
What?
Dahlia Hawthorne?
Yes, Miss Sweetie Pie of everyone's eye, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. She was the prime suspect in a criminal case just 8 months ago.
Order! Order! Order!
She hid the poison.
This
in
is
her-
unbelievable! It's true then.
Miss Fay, that's not fair. You can't slander my witness Winston Payne will not allow it. Pardon me, go right ahead.
It's true that about 8 months ago, the police expressed some interest in me.
Express some interest, huh?
Oh yes, Mr. Judge, sir. I know I'm under oath, so I'll tell you the absolute truth. I did not commit the crime that occurred during that incident 8 months ago.
I see.
Tied two courses together. Now I just gotta stay on the offensive.
Well done, Mia.
I'm sure.
Oh, you really hit a fire in my heart and my buttocks.
Please don't.
I can hardly tell which is more inflamed, my spirit or my hemorrhoids.
Pass.
I think this is the final cross-examination.
The lawyer who was poisoned was discussing. I left my seat. From what I heard, it was liquid poison that is lethal at just 2 seconds. Where to get poison
So that's what happened here 8 months ago.
However, as you've heard from the witness's testimony, she had nothing to do with it. I think the defense is just about out of tricks.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Payne. But I'm afraid the defense has many more tricks up its sleeve today. I'll be sure to show them all to you before the end of this cross-examination.
Yeah. What the? Why does the defense suddenly feel stronger?
Oh, Mia, you're glowing with a true lawyer's aura, my dear. That proud posture and self-confidence, absolutely smashing.
What were you talking about with this defense attorney then?
According to the report, you were being interviewed regarding another case.
He said he wanted to talk about
What that incident was.
That has absolutely nothing to do with this case.
Oh, Jesus.
Objection sustained. The defense's question is stricken from the record.
Oh my god, why? You get involved in a lot of incidents, don't you, Miss Hawthorne? Objection, baiting the witness.
Don't worry, Dolly. I'll protect you. You heard the man. Now there is true love, young lady.
Those two really are making me ill. But for decidedly different reasons.
Hold it!
How long were you gone?
I've already answered the police. But if you must know,
Where were you during that time? Were you using the toilet?
What are you saying, Miss Faye? Toilet? My perfect little Dolly doesn't poop?
You heard the defendant, Miss Faye. Better luck next time.
The police have already looked into this whole matter. This line of questioning is nothing but a waste of the court's time.
Objection sustained. Miss Hawthorne, please continue your testimony.
hold it!
About how much liquid is in 2 teaspoons?
Well, let's see. My bottle of eye drops says it's half fluid ounce, which is equal to 3 teaspoons.
So it's about 2/3 of that amount, huh?
Poison was found in the Not only that, I heard it was a very special Hold it!
Special kind of poison. How so?
Oh, and where would something like that come from?
Overheard the policeman saying her boyfriend was a pharmaceutical person. Oh my god! I've cracked the case. Yes! They said something about using advanced chemical processes to purify.
Chemical processes? Well, that's quite impressive. Most impressive.
She uses people until she doesn't need them anymore, and then she kills them. The better question is, how did the criminal get something like that? Oh wait, I know.
So you see, I wouldn't even know where to get poison like that.
Like heck you don't.
Objection!
About your boyfriend. You wouldn't know how to get that kind of poison? I don't believe you.
What?
In fact, you had easy access to that kind of poison, didn't you? At your boyfriend's lab.
Boyfriend? You mean the victim, Doug Swallow?
Oh yeah, she's tying up loose ends. That's right. Up until 8 months ago, Miss Hawthorne was dating Mr. Swallow. And if you recall, Mr. Swallow was a pharmacology student at Ivy University.
Pharmacology?
His laboratory contained highly advanced chemistry equipment. In fact, without such equipment, the culprit could never have obtained such a rare and special poison. Well, Miss Hawthorne, it seems you had access to such a poison after all. And then, it was a matter of slipping it into the victim's coffee when he wasn't looking. The only person who could have done that was the one sitting at his very table. You. No!
Order! Could it be?
That's nothing but a...
What is it, Miss Hawthorne?
Well, yes, that's true.
quite true. In fact, the entire courthouse was turned upside down.
Well, you could have easily gotten rid of something that small.
Oh, you're saying I threw the poison in I think you need to show me
Proof? I got some proof for you, honey. I got a whole...
Provide some evidence, or I'll have to dissolve this line of questioning, Miss Faye. Or unless we come up with something,
I got something.
some evidence, we're going to lose this lead.
Oh, I've got something. Please conduct the and yet, the poison disappeared right after it occurred.
If you're going to accuse the young lady of committing murder, then where is the container the poison was carried in? What happened to it?
Oh, it's right fucking here. Ta-da! You were forced to get rid of the container in a hurry, weren't you? And that's why you passed it on to someone that had nothing to do with the case. Someone that you knew wouldn't be searched.
Who is this person?
Mr. Phoenix Wright, of course.
So the defendant was this witness's accomplice?
Oh, well, of course not. She gave the poison to him disguised as a present.
But that's...
That's a charming little necklace. Is this a little bottle? It's really quite cute. So, what about it?
Oh
What
my
does it
god.
mean, Miss Faye?
Why are you so thick? The day that the witnesses met and fell for... The day that the witness met and fell for Mr. Phoenix Wright was 8 months ago. August 27th. The very same day as the poisoning incident.
Under the pretense of love, the witness gave my client a present. All for the purpose of hiding the one piece of evidence that would have given her away.
What? Are you saying there's a deadly poison in there?
Yes. No, there's no longer any poison in that bottle. However, I'm certain that if the crime lab were to analyze it, they would find a trace amount. No!
Order! Order in the court!
Objection!
Phoenix,
On behalf of Dolly, I object!
you're gonna be held in contempt of court.
Mr. Wright, control yourself. I won't let you bully her like this.
Mr. Wright! I thought I told you to stay in your seat!
Hold him in contempt.
Mr. Wright? Why?
Why are you going through so much trouble to protect her?
Why? Because I'm madly in love with her.
Uh-huh.
Madly in love. I haven't heard anyone say that in a long time.
Mr. Wright, have you ever thought about this? Why exactly would a woman like Dahlia Hawthorne want to date you anyway?
Well, I guess she must be madly in love with me too.
Mr. Wright, please open your eyes. At this point in the trial, I think it should be obvious to everyone. The real reason that Dahlia Hawthorne is dating you is because she's using you. Dahlia Hawthorne was not and is never going to be madly in love with you. The only thing she's after is the bottle necklace that you love to wear around your neck.
My necklace?
Back in the waiting room, you said yourself.
Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now.
What a strange girl, asking for a present back like that.
For Dahlia Hawthorne, that necklace is irrefutable evidence of her crime. That's why she absolutely had to get it back.
You're lying.
But you never gave it back to her. make things worse for her, you insist on showing it to everyone. That's why she...
I don't believe you.
No, that's a lie.
Bria, are you all right? The defendant, he's getting away. Bailiff, hurry, after him. Bria, are you all right?
Yeah, I think so.
That boy, he went completely insane.
Where's Mr. Wright?
It looks like the bailiff caught him, so he
No.
should be back here soon.
He'd be in a holding cell. Oh, thank goodness. Oh no!
What is it?
The bottle necklace. Miss Hawthorne's present. It's gone. You gave it to the judge!
What? That's terrible!
Mr. Wright must have grabbed it when he slammed into me.
Foolish boy! That's the only thing that could have saved him! What in blazes are we supposed to do now?
Well, we know that she's guilty. Just...
Mr. Wright, this sort of behavior is unprecedented in the history of this court. I'm sorry.
I'm afraid that your apology is not enough.
Mr. Wright, what did you do with the bottle necklace?
Forgive me. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Just give it back.
I ate it.
You what?
You ate it?
Well, he's gonna die.
It was too big to swallow, so I had to chew it into little bits first, but yeah.
Well, now you're gonna die.
Ah,
What the?
what?
What is he doing now?
Your Honor, you've got to stop this trial. Mr. Wright, are you feeling okay? Does your stomach hurt?
That bottle!
That bottle you swallowed might have had some poison left in it.
It seems the defendant has proven the prosecution's cause for us. Clearly, that bottle did not contain a deadly poison. I think it's obvious. As you can see, the defendant is still very much alive. As for the poison, more like a fledgling defense attorney's overreactive imagination.
So it would seem.
Okay, fuck them. No, there must be some mistake. The bottle must not have had any poison left in it. Either that or the poison must have lost its potency.
There. It's all right, rookie. Trusting your client is the most noble thing a defense attorney can do. And it's
I would still call the
heartwarming to
hospital.
see that you place this much faith in Mr. Wright. But that's how it is for us on the prosecution side, too. For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life.
I'll talk at your funeral.
Which is why I can state that your assessment on her is completely wrong.
That's enough.
You're enough.
Unfortunately, Miss Fay, I cannot accept your explanation of the events.
Why?
This may be impossible for a beginner like you to understand. But in a court of law, evidence is everything.
Even though I've proven so much, is she going to get away with everything? Hey Phoenix, you want to fall over dead for me? Come on.
Well, now that the suspicion surrounding Miss Hawthorne has been cleared up, I would like to proceed by... Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Phoenix, Mr. Wright?
I'm sorry, Miss Fay.
I totally slipped my mind. I'm really, really sorry. I know you believed in me, and I feel like I really let you down.
Uh-huh. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to say?
There's something I forgot to tell you.
Okay.
What is it? That day I met Dog Swallow. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue seeing her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Last night, someone stole some poison from our lab. Poison? The same thing happened 8 months ago. A drug sample was stolen. She came to the lab that time too. It could only have been her. That girl is a thief. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that.
It's true? Did he really say that?
That's ridiculous!
There's one more thing. After I pushed him that day, I got worried and came back to have a look. And she was there. Dahlia was there. She was crouched down next to him.
What?
She told me not to ever tell anyone about it, but I'm sorry, Dolly.
Your Honor, the defendant is...
Miss Faye, you tell him. Dolly didn't do it. She's innocent.
So Dahlia stole poison 8 months ago too, huh? Put that together with Mr. Wright's testimony. There's only one possible conclusion. The defense believes that Miss Dahlia Hawthorne stole some poison on the night before she killed Doug Swallow.
The night before?
Naturally, her motive for stealing it was to kill someone.
Miss Faye,
You.
if you're so certain of your theory, then let me ask you this.
Carefully now. Something
Exactly who was
Phoenix.
Dahlia Hawthorne trying to kill?
She wanted to kill Phoenix.
Isn't it obvious?
There was one person that was scared. And that person was the defendant.
Me? That's preposterous. After all, it was Doug Swallow that was murdered.
Yeah, well, it's true that that's how things worked out. But let's remember that Mr. Swallow died of electrocution, not poison. The person that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison was, in fact, you. There's no one else that could have been.
But how could that be? I thought Mr. Wright and Dahlia, Miss Hawthorne, were in love.
Not really. As I said before, the only thing Miss Hawthorne truly cared about was the one piece of evidence linking her to Phoenix. That's right. The bottle necklace. That's all she cared about.
But even so, why? Why would she go so far to murder him?
8 months ago, just after the fall of the attorney in the basement cafeteria, Dahlia Hawthorne could see the only one. Wanted to get rid of the bottle.
No, it can't be.
Pretty good move she made too. The evidence was missing for a long time. But there was just one problem. Though she got him to hide the evidence, Mr. Wright refused to return it to her. And the tiny little bottle was a treasure. He even showed it to everyone he met.
That's why she tried to kill Mr. Wright?
Incorrect, Your Honor. It was to retrieve that piece of evidence.
That can't be true!
What a joke you are. I even told you time and time again to keep your trap shut. And that necklace. You disgust me.
Miss Hawthorne?
It appears that this trial will be coming to an end soon. Fine. I can tell you plan on making me into the criminal no matter what I say. You are a criminal, Miss Hawthorne. We'll see about that. But first, where's your evidence? It seems your sniveling little crybaby of a client has eaten the bottle as a snack. Hey, old man, you senile or something? Why don't you just say something instead of sitting there with your dumb look on your face?
Miss Hawthorne, what happened to you?
Are you really that shocked?
This way, Mr. Judge. Absolutely no proof. You treat a volunteer witness like she's a mass murderer. Well, I have nothing more to say. I'll be heading home now if you don't mind.
But you're not finished.
And ask this nasty old hag to finish up already. Okay, I can't let her get away this time.
Stop, Mia. If you keep on pushing without any evidence, you could pay the ultimate price as a lawyer.
The ultimate prize.
You'd be first to take off your attorney's badge forever, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Well, Miss Faye, can you provide evidence that would establish her guilt once and for all?
I sure fucking can. But to be honest, at this point, I don't have any evidence. Even so, I'm gonna lose my attorney's badge and let her get away with it. Your Honor, the defense would like to present proof.
Impossible! You can't possibly.
Stupid woman.
It is the opinion of the court that there has already been enough discussion. Therefore, I will allow only one piece of evidence to be presented.
Just one?
If you are unable to establish her guilt, then I'm afraid that a very harsh verdict will immediately be handed down on Mr. Wright.
I understand. Before she gets a chance to soar. She was planning to poison Mr. Wright. If that's the case, then the poison was probably in there.
Well then, Miss Faye, please present your evidence. Show the court irrefutable proof that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison Mr. Wright.
Okay, here it is, Your Honor. The evidence that will prove her guilt once and for all.
Cold Killer X,
No.
Phoenix Wright's beloved cold
Oh, that
medicine.
was replaced, darling.
Does our rookie defense attorney have a bit of a cold?
Does your face have a bit of a cold? If I did, I still wouldn't take this cold medicine. After all, it's been poisoned.
What?
Remember what the defendant said in his testimony?
But I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident.
Dolly. Just the two of us.
She was the one who took his bottle of Code Killer X. And she poisoned it, knowing Mr. Wright was going to take some.
Now you're really grasping at straws. After all, it was the victim, Doug Swallow, that was holding the medicine.
I would like this court to recall the crime that happened here 8 months ago. Where did Miss Hawthorne hide the evidence?
Huh? What are you talking about?
8 months ago, the poison was hidden in her bottle necklace. Which she then gave to someone else for safekeeping. Someone she had accidentally run into in the reading room. My client, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Yeah, that's right. Same thing this time as well. After shoving the victim, Mr. Phoenix Wright left the scene of the crime. That's when the murderer, Diana Hawthorne, appeared. With her, she was carrying a poisoned bottle of poison. This, of course, was so she could carry out her plan to murder Mr. Wright.
I believe she did testify that she was going to meet with the defendant.
Yeah, and she heard and saw everything that happened at the scene of the crime, including what the defendant and victim were arguing about. Then they cut electrical cable. That's when she realized, I can't allow this. She used the severed electrical cable to silence him forever. Unfortunately for her, this is when the problem occurred. Mr. Wright, who she thought had left us in the crime, came back to check on the victim. And on top of that, because of the power outage, some students showed up as well. It's hardly any wonder that she was, as to put it, in a state of panic. Recall that she was carrying that bottle of poison cold medication. She must have thought
Eight months ago?
yeah, she disposed of the evidence exactly the same way she did back then. And so what else hold it? In this case, Doug Swallow. Surely you aren't fooled.
Mr. Prosecutor,
Huh? Yes, that's exactly right. It's a pure desperation.
Okay, you know what? Huh. I wonder which one of us is the desperate one. So, Miss Hawthorne, this cold medication. I wonder if you wouldn't mind taking some. Well, Mr. Wright ate that necklace of yours, right? Now it's your turn to prove your innocence. What do you say? If I'm just a filthy, stinking liar, then there's no need to worry. Come on, show us. I dare you to take some of this medication right now.
Breakdown.
Mia Fey. Mia Fey. Do you think you've won? Well, do you, Mia Fey? That's just fine. For the time being,
victory is yours.
for the time being?
Well, I have a very long memory, you know. You and I will meet again. I'm certain of it. Well then, Mr. Judge, I'll see you later too, okay?
Huh? Why, yes.
I'm going to go spend a little quality time with the men in blue now. I wish you all the best.
finally over.
I refuse to accept this. The defense hasn't shown a scrap of evidence to support their outrageous claim.
But even so, your witness seems to have accepted it.
I don't care. I'm Winston Payne, and I don't believe one word that this rookie lawyer has said.
Well then, Mr. Payne, let me ask you this.
Yes?
Do you care to try this cold American?
What?
Just a little earlier, I could have sworn you said.
There. It's all right, rookie. For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life.
So I'd speak at your funeral. So, if she's so trustworthy, I'm sure there couldn't possibly be any poison in here, right?
Well, you see, yes.
And here comes the backpedal. Come on now, rookie roadkiller. Show this rookie how it's done. How much trust do you really have for that woman? Are you willing to bet your life?
My hair! It's flying off my beautiful hair! No! No!
Really? That's his origin?
That's how he lost his hair. Mr. Payne? About Miss Dahlia Hawthorne?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll file papers for her immediate arrest.
Tragic, but not surprising. I knew there was something suspicious about her from the very beginning.
Don't lie. Just admit you were wrong.
By the way, Miss Faye,
Yeah, Your Honor?
you said earlier that you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne knew each other.
Oh, yeah. Your Honor? How we knew each other had nothing to do with this case.
Very well. Mr. Payne?
This can't be happening. It's a nightmare. It's like losing my...
It appears Mr. Payne has lost his spirit along with his hair.
Tragic.
Does the defendant have anything further to say? It can't be true. My dear Dolly! Very well then. I believe I am ready to pass judgment and bring this trial to an end. The court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty!
Where does this confetti come from?
I don't know. We've been wondering that in the past 2 games now. This court is adjourned.
Who even keeps confetti in gosh darn courtrooms? April 11th, 3:16 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3.
Mia, you were wonderful in there.
I know. Oh, thank you for everything, Mr. Grossberg.
During the verdict, I thought my hemorrhoids
Okay,
were
stop
going
talking
to
about your
explode
hemorrhoids.
like Mumfituous.
Mr. Grossberg, do you maybe think you could stop talking about them now? Please and thank you.
That's rather rude. Anyway, this case really made me think. What does it really mean to have a relationship of mutual trust with the client? Perhaps it is we veteran lawyers who have lost sight of this.
Oh, you're right. Congratulations.
Thanks. You know, I was thinking.
Go on.
The dolly that I saw there on the witness stand. I don't think that was really her.
Oh, what?
Yeah, the dolly I knew would never have said those kind of terrible things. Maybe she was like, I don't know, a fake or something.
You need to forget about her, Mr. Wright, for your own sake.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably for the best.
Also, you need to relax a bit. Try to grow up a little.
But out of all my friends, everyone says I'm the most grown up.
Oh, what kind of company does this guy keep? I thought Edward was the most grown up.
Right. Now I'm starting to become a lawyer myself.
Oh, Jesus. That's what you keep saying. But I thought you were in the art department.
Well, yeah, I guess I am. But there's a friend that I desperately want to help.
Larry?
And if I hurry, then I should be able to save him in time.
Oh, I see.
Say, Miss Fay, a lawyer is someone who can help people when they're in trouble, right?
Mr. Wright, I'm still new to this myself. But I think that's exactly what a lawyer is.
Okay, I'm going to do it. I'll study my butt off. I'll become a lawyer for sure. I hope we see each other again someday. Maybe even in court. It's been 5 years since I was acquitted of all charges. I became a lawyer like I planned. I managed to save my friends. But Mia has passed on to a bitter place. For me, this trial brings up a lot of painful memories. But it also brings up some very precious ones. And memories that I thought would never rise to the surface again. Mia is gone now, but even so, I can hear her in my mind.
Always believe in your client. In the court of law, your greatest weapon is your
5 long years. Something has happened that's made me think back to her words of wisdom. But that is a story for another day. And that brings us to the end of the first episode of Trials and Tribulations. When we come back, we will be doing the next case, the Stolen Turnabout. The first episode with Godot. So, if you enjoyed this series, hit that like and subscribe button, leave a comment if you want, ring that bell to be notified of our next videos coming out. We do new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and occasionally Saturdays and Sundays. And as you watch this next preview for the next case, this is Sora Darkchild and Ami Darkchild signing off. Have a good night, folks.
Yay!
Detective, we made it.
Phew, what a relief. Glad the jewel is still safe. You said it, pal. It must have been our rock-solid security that stopped him. Would you mind opening the safe for me? To double check? Ah! We've been had! Out front, guards! Turn on the searchlights!
Better luck next time, gentlemen. Excuse me, but I'm afraid I must be leaving now. We shall meet again when the next moon is full.